AV News 10 at 5:30 begins with new information on a shooting between two James City County police officers. Good evening. I'm Stephanie Hudson.
And I'm Regina Mobley. We've been covering this case since January. Michael Rusk is charged with shooting his supervising officer, Sergeant Christopher Gibson, outside a Williamsburg bar. 10 on your side's Julie Millay uncovered new information about an argument they were having prior to the shooting.
Regina and Steph, a search warrant is revealing those new details about that argument. Rusk told investigating officers that Sergeant Christopher Gibson wanted to know where he was at all times. And when he refused, it led to a big fight.
We first sat down with Jason Rusk, father of James City County Police Officer Michael Rusk, back in March. Rusk's son is accused of shooting and seriously hurting his sergeant, Christopher Gibson. During this interview, Jason Rusk told us that he believed Sergeant Gibson had been tracking and following the 24-year-old police officer.
Michael would be traveling around with, say, a girlfriend or another set of friends, or visiting us with his girlfriend, and Chris would appear.
Surveillance video from hours before the shooting shows the two officers sitting across from one another at a restaurant. Then Sergeant Gibson gets up and moves next to Michael Rusk. It's shortly after this that Rusk allegedly shot Gibson 3 times before frantically making this 911 call.
I pulled a gun on him. He's advancing on me.
Jason Rusk tells us his son had been the victim of unwanted sexual advances from his superior officer for more than a year. We've asked Gibson to interview with us multiple times, and he has not responded to our requests. A search warrant obtained by 10 on your side says Rusk told officers on the night of the shooting that the two officers got into a fight over tracking software on Rusk's phone. Gibson wanted access to Rusk's location, and when Rusk refused, he told officers that Gibson got angry. Rusk's father says he witnessed Gibson seemingly following Michael before this.
He would just show up out of nowhere on streets where girlfriends lived, or driving down our street, or he'd say, "I see you're hanging out with so-and-so again." I was like, how could he have known that?
Officer Rusk is currently on unpaid leave from the department. He's due back in court next month. Sergeant Gibson is currently on paid leave pending the outcome of an internal affairs investigation. In the newsroom, I'm Julie Millay, 10 on your side.